What's up, Bulls Nation? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, things are really starting to pick up in Bulls media these days as we have an interview and a couple of quotes that I wanted to read out over the course of the last couple of days about DeMar DeRozan. Again, he's had some quotes that has come out that are very, very interesting and could potentially divide opinion, but he's also given, in my opinion, the biggest compliment you can ask for in terms of being a Chicago Bulls player and representing the Chicago Bulls, which we're going to be discussing in this video. But before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about DeMar DeRozan and what do you think about the quotes that he has said. Some of it, albeit may be controversial, but some of it, in my opinion, is just amazing news to see. And we're going to start off with what DeMar DeRozan said about his long-term future with the Chicago Bulls. And the basic, I guess, news story is, in this instance, is that DeMar DeRozan wants to end his career with the Chicago Bulls. And in my opinion, that is the biggest form of flattery, I guess, in terms of the Chicago Bulls. It's the biggest compliment you can give, as well as it's also a news story that DeMar DeRozan is willing to commit to his future long-term with the Chicago Bulls team. Now, here is the quote that he said. It is from DeMar DeRozan, and I'm reading this from Bleacher Report. "That's the place I want to be and end my career. I want to be able to accomplish everything I've set out to accomplish. That's all I can worry about and control. I have the utmost confidence in myself. I'll let my agent and the organization deal with the side of things. To be honest, man, from their standpoint, they want me to be there long term and vice versa. We'll see what happens from there." So basically, DeMar DeRozan is giving his verbal, I guess, word that he wants to be here long term. We know the Bulls want DeMar DeRozan here long term. So now it's up to both sides, both parties, to find that agreement and whether or not it can be accomplished. Now, there are a couple of things to take away from that. One, as I said before, the biggest form of flattery. I don't care what anybody says. When you have DeMar DeRozan, that's one of the best players in the league, one of the most, I guess, talented players in the league, saying that Chicago is a destination where you can have a long-term future and you could potentially end your career. I don't care what anybody says, whether you like DeMar DeRozan or you hate DeMar DeRozan. In my opinion, that's the biggest form of flattery. And that, in my opinion, is a message that can be spread to all the NBA in terms of free agency. That this place, the Chicago Bulls, is a place where you'll be respected, where you'll be loved, where you'll be appreciated, and where, if things do go well in your future as a Chicago Bull, you will obviously get the utmost respect from the organization, and you could potentially end your career here if that's the way that you want to end. And that could be the respect that DeMar DeRozan is receiving from the organization, because the fact that the organization wants DeMar DeRozan to be here as well, it kind of shows that they're sharing a similar view in one way, form, or fashion, which is incredible to see. But it doesn't necessarily guarantee that DeMar DeRozan is going to stay here. Again, there is a gap there where there's no guarantee. Again, the last quote, the last section of that quote, we'll see what happens on that side of things. That means that, yes, both parties might want it, but there's no agreement there as of yet. And if they don't find that agreement, then there's still a possibility that DeMar DeRozan could leave the Chicago Bulls in free agency. Plus, we know things change on a regular basis. We still know that trades are a thing. And as much as DeMar DeRozan wants to end his career here, the Bulls can shift in a blink of an eye. And maybe that shift will involve DeMar DeRozan in some way, form, or fashion. So yeah, at the end of the day, as much as this is a big compliment, a big flattery, and a big positive sign for the Chicago Bulls, does not necessarily mean it's going to end in the beautiful story that DeMar DeRozan may want it to end in. But I hope it does. Again, I've said this for a long time. I want players that want to be here. And yes, I believe if we can find a way to compete with DeMar DeRozan, then I would love DeMar DeRozan to be here. I think there's a lot to do. I don't think this team is ready, and I still think we have work to do, training camp-wise, preseason-wise, and obviously getting the structure right with this Bulls organization from top to bottom. I still believe those things, and plus, AK and the Bulls front office has still been here in a short amount of time, so we don't know what their core values are for the most part. We know continuity is something that they strive for at this point, But other than that, we don't necessarily know a lot about how they're going to treat a player like DeMar DeRozan that wants to be here long term. We don't know these things as of yet, and there's still more time to figure that out. So there's still a lot to look forward to from that point of view. But I'm very, very happy that DeMar DeRozan wants to be here long term. And if we can make things work, if DeMar DeRozan believes in himself, if the Bulls organization believe that they can compete with DeMar DeRozan, then again, it's someone that I want here. But I'm not going to lie and tell you that I've never wanted DeMar DeRozan traded in the past. There are videos out there that can show that at some points I truly believe DeMar DeRozan had to go. But if you could find a way, find a way. That's the way that I see it. If you can't find a way, then maybe it is best to try and reshape the team. But speaking of reshaping the team, a nice segue into the next DeMar DeRozan, I guess, comments that he's talked about when it comes to all these fans talking about rebuilding the team and stuff of that nature. Here's what he had to say about that. I think a lot of people who say that or suggest that in relation to rebuilding the team don't understand basketball at all, in my opinion. He continued to say, you think that's an answer or that's a route, but there's no telling how long that route is going to even last. That route doesn't necessarily always work in a timely fashion that you may think it will take. That's a very bold statement from DeMar DeRozan. Whatever the case may be, he's made a bold statement about rebuilding and reshaping the team, or at least rebuilding the team. I think reshaping is a different story entirely. But look, there are a lot of Bulls fans. I've seen a bunch of them in comment sections everywhere, around every video, including my own, talking about rebuilding this team, going younger, getting draft picks, and trying to reshape this team in a younger way, going younger. A lot of people wanted that to happen, but DeMar DeRozan has some merit in what he's saying in my eyes, because look at how our rebuild went when we traded for Zach LaVine and we went younger there. There was a lot of talent there that we picked up that has not succeeded with a Chicago Bulls uniform on. That could be Larry Markkinen, that could be Wendell Carter, that could be a guy like Denzel Valentine. Look, again, from the AK era to the, I guess, Garpax era, Zach LaVine and Kobe White are the only players left on the team from that point of view. That rebuild that we tried to do with the Jimmy Butler trade, as of now, in my eyes, has not worked. Rebuilding does not always work. We know that. You do still see some frustration in a rebuild. I mean, look at Philadelphia right now. They've been rebuilding, trust the process, years and years and years ago. And yes, they're making second rounds in the playoffs. Yes, they're still a formidable, competitive team. But as you can see, they haven't really come close to winning a championship. So at the end of the day, rebuilding is not always the way to go. Now, I'm not going to be foolish and say that's never an option. That's ridiculous. At the end of the day, if you could find that hidden talent, that generational talent, you find a guy like Nikola Jokic in the second round, you find a guy like Giannis in the mid-lottery pick, wherever he went, you know, you can find that generational talent. You can get lucky. And you can rebuild and still be successful. But NBA teams, as much as they're working through the draft, at the same time, they're probably looking for younger talent out there in free agency or via trades as well. So at the end of the day, it's about finding that balance. Finding a balance of young guys and veterans. Finding a balance of players that want to win and players that want to learn to win. And if you can find that balance, in my opinion, that's the way to go. So I think rebuilding, as of now, we're not going to rebuild, so there's no point in even talking about it. We'll wait and see how the trade deadline approaches and what we'll do from there. But in saying that, reshaping the team has always been an idea for me, and I do think a reshape could be necessary. We've seen this big three not necessarily play well together in 2 seasons thus far. So maybe a reshaping is the way to go. That could potentially involve DeMar DeRozan as well. So I'm not against a reshape of any kind, especially if we come into this season and we suck once again. But maybe rebuilding isn't the way to go. I don't know. I'm not the front office. I'm not them. They have to make that decision, and we're going to have to live with it regardless, whether we're happy about it or not. But DeMar DeRozan, from his experience, you know, you have to take that with some merit at least, because he's been around the NBA and he's been around winning teams. And he's also been around teams that have been rebuilding. And as you can see, sometimes it's not all sunshines and rainbows going younger. You're going to have to go through years of struggle to get back to the top. Let's wait and see what side of the coin the Bulls will be on by the end of this season and future seasons to come. What are your thoughts on these quotes? Thank you all so much for watching. Drop a like and a follow and or subscribe if you are new. And I will see you in the next Chicago Bulls related video. Interesting quotes. I hope there's more we could talk about in the future. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.